I still hear the roar of that river in my dreams, the furious rush of water, the cold that burned like fire in my lungs, the weight of fear pressing me down. And above it all, the memory of his hand, the strong, steady hand that reached through the torrent and pulled me back into life. But to tell you how I came to that moment, I must begin earlier, when my days were still marked by dust, chores, and the heavy silence of the prairie. I was 19 that summer, living on the edge of a settlement that seemed always at odds with the land and the people who had lived there long before us. My father had passed the year before, and my mother carried her grief like a stone in her apron pocket, working from dawn till dusk. That left me in between, too young to feel old, too old to cling to childish comforts. The plains were vast, their skies endless. The mornings smelled of sage and wood smoke, the evenings of dry earth cooling beneath the stars. Yet in that wide, wild world, I often felt trapped, hemmed in by the narrow thoughts of the townsfolk and their constant whispers of us and them. One day, while gathering water near the creek, I found him. A boy no older than 12, half-starved, shivering, his dark eyes wide with fear. He was Lakota, though I knew little beyond the name. His leg was badly wounded, and I could see he hadn't eaten in days. Every warning I'd ever been given echoed in my ears: they are not like us. Don't trust them. Keep away. But when I looked at him, I didn't see an enemy. I saw a child, broken and alone. Without thinking, I whispered, "It's all right. You're safe." I hid him in our barn, brought him scraps of bread, cleaned his wound by lamplight when my mother had gone to bed. Each time I helped him, I felt the walls inside me shift, the walls built by fear, suspicion, and the rigid rules of survival. But secrets don't stay buried long on the frontier. It was a neighbor who saw me slipping into the barn at dusk, carrying a pail of water. Within days, whispers turned to shouts. They dragged the boy from his hiding place, his eyes wild with terror, and turned their anger on me. "She's a traitor!" someone yelled. "She's siding with the enemy." Before I could even plead, rough hands seized me, dragging me toward the riverbank. My mother screamed, but they held her back. They shouted that punishment was needed, that I must pay for betraying my own people. The river was swollen from summer rains, churning and wild. They threw me in as if I were nothing more than a stone. The water closed over my head, icy, merciless. I fought, kicking, clawing, the roar deafening in my ears. My dress tangled around my legs, dragging me down. Panic clawed at my chest. This is how it ends, I thought. Not in the quiet of age, not in the safety of home, but swallowed by a river because I dared to show mercy. Then, through the blur of water and fear, I felt it, an arm, strong and sure, cutting through the current. A hand gripped mine, pulling, refusing to let go. I broke the surface, gasping, coughing, clinging to that strength. When my vision cleared, I saw him. A Lakota warrior, tall, broad-shouldered, his dark hair streaming with river water, his eyes fierce and alive. He carried me to the bank with a power I had never known, laying me gently on the grass. I remember the way the world seemed to fall silent then, the only sound my ragged breaths and the rush of the river. He looked at me, and though he said nothing at first, I felt the weight of his gaze. It was not judgment. It was not anger. It was recognition. His name, I later learned, was Chotan. Brother to the boy I had hidden. He had been searching for him when he saw the commotion, saw me hurled into the water like a discarded thing. And without hesitation, he had leapt in after me. That night, he brought me to a sheltered grove away from the settlement, where a small fire crackled beneath the stars. His people moved like shadows, tending the boy, who now clung to his brother's side. I sat shivering, wrapped in a blanket Chotan had given me, watching the sparks rise into the dark sky. "You saved him," Chotan said at last, his voice low, accented but clear. "When others would have turned away. I couldn't let him die," I whispered, my throat raw from the river. He studied me then, as if weighing the truth of my heart. "And they cast you out for that mercy." I lowered my eyes, shame burning hotter than the fire. "They see kindness as betrayal." Chotan moved closer, his presence steady as the earth itself. "Then you are braver than they know." In the days that followed, I healed among his people. They shared food, taught me words in their tongue, showed me a way of life bound not by fences but by the rhythm of the land. And slowly, I came to see the world through new eyes, the beauty of their songs at night, the strength of their bonds, the quiet dignity in every gesture. Chotan was never far. He showed me how to ride bareback across the open plains, how to listen for the language of the wind. When I faltered, he steadied me. When fear threatened to return, he reminded me of the river, of the way he had not let me go. I found myself drawn to him not just for his courage, but for the gentleness he carried beneath it. He spoke little, but when he did, it was with a weight that lingered. And when our eyes met, I felt something I could not name, a current as strong as the river that had nearly taken me, but far warmer, pulling me toward him with a force I did not want to resist. Yet love on the frontier is never simple. I knew I could not return to the settlement, not after what had been done. My old life was gone. The choice before me was clear: remain with Chotan's people, or wander the world alone. One evening, as the sun bled across the horizon, painting the sky in fire, Chotan stood beside me. His hand brushed mine, tentative yet certain. "You have the heart of a Lakota," he said softly, "but only you can choose where it will carry you." I turned to him then, seeing not the stranger I once feared, but the man who had saved me, sheltered me, taught me that mercy was not weakness, but strength. The man who had given me back my life when others sought to take it. My answer was simple. I slipped my hand into his and whispered, "I've already chosen." And in that moment, beneath the vast prairie sky, I knew that the river had not been my end, but my beginning. Now, years later, when I hear the river's roar, I no longer shudder. I remember the fear, yes, but more than that, I remember the hand that reached for me, the love that pulled me from the depths, and the life that followed. I was thrown into the raging river for hiding an Indian boy. But what I found was more than survival, more than forgiveness. I found love in the arms of a Lakota warrior who showed me that even in the harshest wilderness, the heart can still find its way home.